Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not worry about the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Danger. And that is because there is the possibility that we could be on the verge of very grave danger this week and even the following week. And the reason why is that there are 6 planets in the cardinal signs right now, harshly aspecting each other. There are 4 cardinal signs: Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. But all 6 planets are in only 2 of the signs, Aries and Capricorn. And 2 of the 6 planets are at the 29th degree of fate. They call it the degree of fate in any sign because it is the last degree in a sign, and so it indicates things that can mean sort of now or never. And so Mercury is in Aries, the sign of new beginnings. It's very early in the sign, but it's direct, and it is the planet of communication. And then the Sun today and Uranus are both conjuncting each other in Aries at that 29th degree of fate. Uranus is the planet of sudden surprising change, and it's one of the 3 malefic planets, planets that can sort of get you in trouble. And in fact, all 3 malefic planets are harshly squaring each other, which is a strong indication of danger. And so since Uranus rules rebellion, and it rules not only sudden surprising change, but it rules freedom, and it rules space and aviation and anything that goes through the air, such as electricity. It also rules computers and the internet, and it rules invention and music, and it is the planet of volatility. And it not only rules humanitarian concerns, but it rules the future, and as I said, above all, it rules sudden, surprising change. And so with the Sun conjuncting that Uranus right now, we are probably in for a surprising announcement or something that just erupts and comes right out of the blue, because those 3 planets in Aries are being harshly and severely squared by 3 more powerful planets in Capricorn. And the 3 planets in Aries are not being backed up or fortified by anything. There are no planets in the other fire signs. So the planets in Capricorn are being backed up. They're being trined by Venus in Taurus. And what we have is Saturn, which is the ruler of the sign, and it's retrograde now. And then we have Mars, which is exalted in Capricorn, and Mars has moved on, and it is now conjuncting Pluto in Capricorn. Mars and Pluto are the rulers of Scorpio, and all of the planets in Capricorn sextile Jupiter in Scorpio, which is also retrograde. And so they are in harmony and good aspect to each other. And Scorpio rules war. And it is a fixed financial sign, so it has something to do with financial danger as well. And since Mars and Pluto are conjuncting each other, it simply not only is an indication of danger, but since they're squaring Uranus, that planet of sudden surprising change, it just heightens the danger. And so by Monday, we will have 3 retrograde planets. Jupiter in Scorpio, then Saturn in Capricorn is already retrograde, and then Pluto will go retrograde on Monday as well. And so that can indicate, since Scorpio also rules justice and survival, it simply means that we're coming up to a time when justice could be done that should have been done before. In other words, justice is going to catch up with somebody. Who could this danger affect? Well, Capricorn rules people at the top in large government agencies or large corporations. So they are the people that are really in power. And there is the possibility, since these planets in Capricorn are so strong, and since we have retrograde planets by Monday, it simply means that a sudden revelation Remember, Mercury is in Aries, and Uranus is the planet of sudden change. So a sudden revelation or something that just comes out of nowhere could indicate the downfall of a prominent person. Or it could even be the downfall of a whole corporation or of a government or of a country. We have that to look forward to as well. There is a possibility of that. Where would the danger come from? Well, oddly enough, it is because of the strength in the earth signs right now. And that is because Venus in Taurus, as I said, is trining Saturn, Mars, and Pluto in Capricorn. These earth signs really mean business, and these four planets are very strong and backing each other up, and they're trining the sign of Virgo. And so what it means is that there can be a dangerous buildup of resources, perhaps financial resources, but other resources as well. As somebody who may be falling from a position of power, or somebody who is affected by a sudden surprising change, could want to throw money at a problem, particularly if justice is catching up with them. So that's why a dangerous buildup of resources could sort of be done for the wrong reason, and that could threaten a lot of people as well. So what we can be anticipating now is that there can be some sort of surprising announcement, or there could be a sudden change in circumstances, or there could even be the cancellation of a new beginning. Remember how powerful those planets in Capricorn are, and they are squaring the planets in Aries, which rules new beginnings. So all of that is possible. And if you put that all together, it simply means that the danger could actually come from a sudden change that could precipitate war, or it could cause a deep smoldering resentment among powerful people that could turn into some sort of backlash or even some surprising uprising. So that could happen as well. What does this all boil down to? Well, what it really all boils down to right now is there is enough of an indication of danger around that the mighty could fall, or the mighty could be replaced, and their demise would be so shocking to them that they may decide to retaliate and hunker down and use all of their warlike and financial resources to maintain their power. And that is why I think that we are entering a very dangerous period. So I hope that you will be extremely careful. And no matter where you're going and what you're doing, keep your guard up now. Because Mars is moving forward, but Pluto by Monday will go retrograde. And that means the conjunction between the two planets will be exact next week by the end of April. And that's when the danger will be at its height. So that is why we all really have to be very, very careful right now. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think you're going to get some sort of surprise. It's coming right up, if it hasn't happened already, Aries. And if I'm not saying that you're causing a surprising change. I am saying that there could be a change of circumstances or a surprising announcement, and it might be in connection with an organization that you belong to. It could be at work, so it could involve your employer. It could be in some government agency, and their change could affect you in one way or another. It could be just a change of policy. In other words, if somebody changes the rules and regulations, it may really take you by surprise, Aries. And you are vulnerable right now. So this is a week, Aries, when you need to be as quiet as you can. I wouldn't rock anybody's boat this week if I were you, Aries, or next week. And the reason why is that your sign has no backup. There is nothing in the other fire signs, and the 3 planets in Capricorn are dominant right now. They really mean business, and one of them is your ruler, Mars, and it is squaring your sign. So you really have to be on your best behavior this week, Aries, and throughout the month, actually. And, you know, if something happens, you will have to take it with as much grace as you possibly can, because I don't think that you'll be able to change it. And that is why, if I were you, I would keep real quiet this week and keep a very low profile if you can. Okay, good luck. What does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is a time when if you've had something going on in the background of your life, it could be threatened right now. And that is because the 3 planets in Aries, including the 2 at the 29th degree of fate, the Sun and Uranus, are right behind your Sun sign. So there could be something rather electrifying that could really change things for you behind the scenes, Taurus. But I'm not sure that they would change it for the better. And so with Venus in your sign being trined by Saturn, Mars, and Pluto in Capricorn, very strong planets right now, you need to simply look at the long run or the long-term advantages of you sticking with something that maybe may not be as glamorous, it may not be as much fun, it may not even pay as well as something else, but it's steady. You should really stick to that, and that could be in a relationship as well. And that is because you need to really think long term, because that's where your safety can be it can be at best advantage for you. And so, you know, don't go by something that suddenly happens behind the scenes, Taurus. Think about what the real cost and benefits to remaining quite steady now in your focus can bring you in the long run. And besides, there are bills to pay. Jupiter in Scorpio is opposing Venus in your sign. And so that is why you sort of need to stay on the straight and narrow right now if you can, Taurus. That would bring you the greatest happiness. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, today the moon is in your sign. And if there is danger around, or if there is a sudden change in circumstances, or an announcement that just comes at the very last moment, or justice that is done because it should have been done before, I think you're going to benefit from all of that. Even from a cancellation of a new beginning, I think you'll benefit, because the Mercury, your own ruler, and the Sun and Uranus in Aries are sextiling your Sun, and Venus is in Taurus right behind your Sun, offering you some protection or some sort of financial security. In other words, either you have valuable assets, or your investments are paying off, or somebody else does, so you could be a little more financially secure than people realize. And so I do think that we could be facing danger, but I don't think it would necessarily harm you, Gemini. And in fact, if there is some danger going around somewhere, there may be a benefit or a new beginning for you because of it. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when, just like Aries, you need to be really quiet right now. Don't respond or overreact to anything, Cancer, because yours is a cardinal sign. The 3 planets in Aries are squaring your Sun sign, and the heavy hitters, those 3 planets in Capricorn, 2 of which will be retrograde by Monday, are opposing your Sun sign. And so I think that you are going to feel some sort of a dangerous situation around you, Cancer. And the reason why is it could be coming from somebody in top management where they're making some sort of change or a policy change in a corporation or a government agency, and it may adversely affect you. Or it could be just budget cuts that could adversely affect you. The good news is there's a silver lining in all of that for you, Cancer, and it is that your sign is being fortified. Jupiter in Scorpio is trining your Sun, and so is Neptune in Pisces. So you do have some financial backup or assets you can draw on if there is some sort of change in your life. And you are one of the people that would applaud justice that is finally being done at last. I think you would agree that it's about time. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, there could be some sudden surprising change or news that could be beneficial to you, because there could be some sudden revelation that could more or less open a door for you. And that's because Mercury, the Sun, and Uranus in Aries are trining your Sun. And so, you know, there's all kinds of possibilities connected with that. But those planets are actually being so harshly aspected by the dominant planets in Capricorn that what I think that really means for you, Leo, is that there is the possibility of actually a cancellation or a change in plans about a new beginning that you may not have to make. And that would be good news for you, Leo, because if there is some sort of change in plans so that you don't have to make a move or you don't have to change something, it will be much better for you financially. It doesn't mean you couldn't make a new start where you are, but it would be more economical to stay where you are. And that is because Venus in Taurus is harshly squaring your Sun, and so is Jupiter in Scorpio. And Jupiter's rulers are sort of on the warpath, Mars and Pluto right now. And so that is why it might be that some sort of sudden surprising revelation or change in circumstances could present a new opportunity to you, or the cancellation of a new opportunity that could bring you something better and something that is much more economical that you can afford. So I hope that's how that turns out for you. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time when you are certainly going to benefit even if there is danger around, and that is because Jupiter in Scorpio is sextiling your Sun, and that simply means that I think that justice now is going to be done, which should have been done before, and you would probably agree with that. And if a person in a high position loses that position because of a change in management or a change in policy, and so they're sort of looking at their downfall, you may think that that's a good thing too. Maybe that could be involved with thinking that justice is coming at last. Because actually, Venus in Taurus is trining your Sun, Jupiter in Scorpio is sextiling it, and all three planets in Capricorn are also trining your Sun. I think that if there is danger around, you may be involved with it because there could be a sudden change in an organization, or there could be sudden changes in government policies, or there could be the downfall of somebody, and you would be a person that others could rely on to fill the void and to continue working very hard. And it's so, even if there is danger, I think that there could be a situation that would actually bring out the best in you and prove how reliable and dependable you are. And so, you know, it could have a wonderful silver lining for you, Virgo. And that is why you should prepare to roll up your sleeves and work even harder. But as I said, it's going to be real good for you. All right, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, yours is a cardinal sign as well. And so this can be a time when we can all be on the verge of grave danger, but certainly you could be, Libra, and that is not because of anything you're causing. It can be a situation around you, and that is because somebody else may want to make a new beginning. The three planets in Aries, including the Sun and Uranus, which are conjuncting today, are opposing your Sun sign. So there could be a sudden revelation or announcement, a sudden change in circumstances, or somebody who just wants their freedom and wants to bolt. Okay, that could throw you off a little bit. But the danger is actually from the three planets in Capricorn, Saturn, Mars, and Pluto, which are all squaring your Sun sign. So there really is the threat of danger, and it can come from a large organization that could be running into trouble that you're associated with, or from government policies or actions taken by governments that could impact you, Libra. So it's very lucky for you that the moon is in Gemini today, and it is trining your Sun. Gemini rules short travels. If you feel that there's any danger around you, Libra, why don't you take a short trip? Or be around pals and buddies that you could really trust right now. Or just take a short training course or something where you're in a safe environment and something that could get you temporarily away from a dangerous or a potentially dangerous situation. So if you have to make some sort of a swift move and go in a different direction, the moon in Gemini is with you. And so that would be good for you. You might take advantage of that. All right, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, Jupiter is retrograde in your sign, and your own rulers, Mars and Pluto, are in Capricorn, closely conjuncting each other, and so they can really mean business right now, and they're sextiling your sun, and Saturn, which is also retrograde in Capricorn, is sextiling your sun as well. This is a time, since there will be 3 retrograde planets by Monday, that justice can be done, which should have been done before. And you could very much agree with that. And you could be saying to yourself, well, at last this is happening. But there's also the possibility, Scorpio, that there could be the downfall of somebody in a high position. And they could be so shocked by that they could decide to retaliate in some way. So we are all on the verge of grave danger, and it could come from a retaliatory attack, or it could come from some sort of sudden change that precipitates war or builds up resentment and fosters some sort of uprising or backlash. And so it sort of depends on whether you've been on the side of the angels or not, Scorpio. But if you're in a high position, justice might catch up with you. If you are not, then you could still be affected by the dangers that can be presented now, that we can all be exposed to. So you too, Scorpio, have to keep your guard up right now and just be very careful, because it's your rulers that are on the warpath right now. And that's why you need to be very careful of your reactions and your words and your actions right now. Think twice. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius, the sun is conjuncting Uranus in Aries, and Mercury is there as well, and they are all trining your sun sign. So you could be looking at the possibility of a sudden news start, something where there's an announcement at the very last moment, or a sudden change in circumstances, and you may want to react quickly to that. But I urge you not to, Sagittarius. And the reason why is that action is one thing, but when action is stirred up, okay, you can't really see clearly. Okay, there's a lot in the air, there's a lot of atmosphere, there's a lot of dust that can be created or stirred up, or sentiment. And you need to decide to wait until the dust settles, Sagittarius, so that you can make a very good decision of your own. It may involve a new beginning, but this may not be the time to suddenly take off and do that. This would be a better time for us to wait until the danger is past, or until trouble has been appeased in some way, and then go forward. And so you may have to delay some of your plans right now, Sagittarius, but believe me, if it is in the name of safety, then you should do that. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, you certainly can be supercharged right now with Saturn, Mars, and Pluto in your sign. And even though Saturn is retrograde right now, Mars and Pluto are conjuncting. Pluto will go retrograde on Monday, but all 3 planets in your sign are harshly squaring the 3 planets in Aries. And that means that all the malefic planets are in harsh aspect to each other, and that spells trouble and danger. And so Mars and Pluto are conjuncting in your sign, and they are squaring the Sun and Uranus in particular, that are at the 29th degree of fate in Aries. So at any time, whatever you do, Capricorn, could spark a sudden change, or there could be something that just happens out of the blue. It could even be something like an attack or an accident or somebody's change of mind. It could also be an uprising or a backlash to something. And that's why you need to be very careful and guard your own safety right now, Capricorn. Your sign is being trined by Venus in Taurus. What you want to do, I think you can afford to do. But if it involves being on the warpath, You need to be very, very careful because there could be retaliation, Capricorn. That's why you need to be so careful. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, you could really be caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. And you may not know which way to go right now. And that is because your own ruler, Uranus, in Aries, is being so harshly aspected by the planets in Capricorn that it could precipitate a sudden change that might result in war, or it could result in the downfall of a prominent person or of a whole country or organization. And so, you know, it could be some organization that you're involved with, Aquarius. It could be a big government agency. It could be your employer. And the reason why you could be caught right now in wondering which way to turn is because financially, I think you're a little bit trapped right now. And that is because Venus in Taurus is squaring your Sun, and so is Jupiter in Scorpio. And remember, Scorpio rules justice. And this is a time with Scorpio's rulers so strong that justice can be done, which should have been done before. That might apply to a financial matter that you're involved with, Aquarius. So it's lucky that the moon in Gemini is trining your Sun today, because you may be able to get some sympathetic help that could help you with some sort of a compromise or legal dilemma right now. And you may need that help. So I would look for partners right now, if I were you, Aquarius, to help you get out of something. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when you really can be contemplating making some sort of new start. There could be just a sudden opening or a sudden change in circumstances that allows you to sort of go forward. I think it would be someone else's idea, though, Pisces, and you better think twice about it, because those planets in Aries are being very harshly aspected, so something could be very dangerous and go wrong. And the moon in Gemini today is squaring Neptune in your own sign. So, you know, people could be telling you things that are not necessarily true in order to lure you into something that could be dangerous. And that is why you need to step back and simply think a little bit more carefully about your own safety, Pisces. And if you're facing some sort of temptation right now, do not succumb to it. It would be you would end up worse than you think. And so this is a time to be very, very careful and cautious if you can be. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show and you can read our blog and hear our podcast on our website, starborninstitute.org.